Hello, my friends, kids, and grown-ups of and beyond the Elliott Church. It's so good to be with you today. This is our November Time for All Ages story. And today I have a story for you by Becky Brooks, a Unitarian Universalist religious educator. And the story is called Sophia's Guest. We'll talk a little bit about it after, but I'll start right into the story. Once upon a time, there was a teacher named Sophia. Sophia had been a teacher in the town where she lived for so long that the kids she first had in her classes had grown up, and the kids of their own, they had kids of their own, and sent them to her class too. Almost everybody in the town knew Sophia and loved her. Not because she was an excellent teacher, although she was, but she was also so very kind. One day, when Sophia got to work, she found a note on her desk. The note read, "Dear Sophia, I will be around tomorrow. I wonder if I might stop by your house for tea tomorrow afternoon. Your friend, God." At first, Sophia thought it was a joke. But the more she thought about it, the more she realized that if it was a joke, it wasn't a very funny joke. And she couldn't think of anyone who would play a joke like that on her. So then she thought, what if it wasn't a joke? What if God really was going to come to her house tomorrow afternoon? Sophia thought she should get ready just in case. On her way home from work, she stopped by the store and bought one of those mats that people put on their porch out in the front stoop that says in big letters, "Welcome." When she got home, she cleaned her house from top to bottom. She brought in fresh flowers from the garden and put them in a vase in the living room. She cleaned and cleaned until everything was sparkling. In the morning, Sophia realized she didn't know what God liked to eat. So she baked bread, and she made a casserole and fruit salad and baked some cookies. And what about the tea? Did God like hot tea or iced tea? She thought she better make both. So she did. And what if God's favorite thing in the whole world was lemonade? She thought she should make some of that, too. She was so nervous. She was so nervous she didn't know what to expect. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Sophia's heart began to race. She took a big breath, opened the door slowly, and on the other side was the mayor of the town. "Hello, Sophia. I was walking by and smelled the delicious, fresh baked bread." Sophia said, "I'm so glad you're here. Come on in, come on in. I'm expecting a very important visitor who you might want to meet. Please come in and make yourself at home." Sophia and the mayor sat, having a nice discussion when the door started to knock again. She took another deep breath, opened the door slowly, and on the other side was a group of children from her class. "Hello, Miss Sophia. We were walking by and noticed the smell of fresh baked cookies." Sophia said, "I'm so glad you're here. Please come on in, come on in. I'm expecting a very important visitor who you might want to meet. Please come in and help yourself to some cookies." The children were giving the mayor some much needed advice when there was another at the door. Sophia's heart started to race and she took a deep breath And she opened the door, and on the other side was the entire Women's Covenant group from church. "Hello, Sophia. We heard the tea kettle and laughter and thought you might be having a party." Sophia said, "I'm so glad you're here. Come on in. I'm expecting a very important visitor who you might want to meet. Please come in and make yourself at home." All afternoon, people stopped by Sophia's house, lured by the yummy smells and happy sounds. The townspeople filled her house, upstairs and downstairs, and overflowed into the backyard and the front yard. As they got hungry, they made dinner and ate as the sun set and the moon rose. It was a great party. People were playing games and telling stories and baking and playing music and talking together. Sophia had such a nice time that she completely forgot about her very important guest. Even as she waved goodbye to her friends at the end of the night, she felt only contentment at having such a lovely party. In the morning, though, Sophia woke up and remembered everything. She was confused. Whatever had happened to God? All during her walk to work, she tried to figure out what had happened. Along the way, she smiled and waved to people she ran into who had been at her party. She thought to herself, "I should really do that again sometime." When Sophia arrived at work, she was surprised to find another note at her desk. It read, "Dear Sophia, I had such a wonderful time yesterday. The bread was delicious. The cookies were divine. Tea mixed with lemonade is my very favorite. Thank you for being such a wonderful host. I hope we can do it again soon. Love, God." The end. The end. So, I'll let you think about this story a little bit and what it means to you. This story is our November Time for All Ages because in November we're starting to gear up for the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving, we had Halloween, some people will celebrate Hanukkah, we will gear up for Advent and then Christmas and then New Year's. And it's a time of year where we invite people into our homes sometimes. And sometimes we're invited into other people's homes. And even if we're not, because of COVID or because we just don't, it's a time of year when we get to think about our relationship to other people and our relationship to hospitality, what it means to make people feel welcome and to make them feel like we see that God is inside them, just as God is inside us. So I hope that this month you will take a little bit of time to think about what hospitality and welcome means to you, and also how when you are surrounded by loved ones, whether on Zoom or in person, you can notice, see if you can notice that of God inside them. So I hope you enjoyed that story. It's one of my favorites. And I will be sending out a monthly religious exploration, religious enrichment activity via mail. If you have children, if you are a child, and you would like to receive one in the mail and you're not on my list, please just send me an email and I can make sure to include you. I hope you have wonderful Thanksgivings and a wonderful month of November, and I hope to see you in church. Take care, my friends.